He feels the usual fluttering in his chest, part anxiety, part excitement. It always starts as the bus approaches the roundabout near the hospital. Her stop is just after that, the one opposite the hospital's main entrance. Will she be there today? He knows she should be. It's term time. He remembers when he first saw her a few months ago. He'd glanced up idly from his morning paper and was instantly struck by her face. Porcelain skin with such delicate features. Dark, shoulder-length hair with a fringe she had to keep pushing out of her green eyes. She reminded him a little of his ex-wife, without the anger and bitterness. Her clothing was casual, as is the way with that generation, but she appeared to him as being elegant. Indeed, she carried herself with a grace that belied her youth. She'd been sitting there with an oversized backpack, which she presumed was filled with the books and papers she needed for beginning her time at university, although she hardly seemed old enough to be out of secondary school. She was clearly more used to the syllabus now. She travelled with a smaller bag these days. As the bus pulls in, he realises that he's holding his breath in anticipation and laughs quietly at himself. She's there. He knew she would be. Sometimes there are 2 or 3 others waiting, but today she's on her own. That doesn't happen often. He's grateful when it does. The bus is running ahead of schedule, as it usually is at this time of day, so the driver leaves it idling and flicks through a tabloid while standing by the doors smoking a cigarette. This gives him a few minutes to watch her from his seat at the back of the bus. He likes to sit as far back in the bus as possible. There was one morning, not long after the day he'd first seen her, when he had to sit toward the front and on the wrong side of the bus. It had rather upset his day. The next day and every day after that, he started getting up early and walking 3 stops further than he needs to be certain of getting one of the seats at the back next to a window. There have been a few times when he's thought about getting off the bus, just so he can be closer to her, if only for a moment. Perhaps he could even see which bus she catches. Maybe one day. But the thought always leaves him feeling uneasy and a little shaky. He notices the increased noise of the engine and realises that the driver is preparing to pull out. He doesn't think about the day ahead. The interminable analysing of figures and meetings in that grey office with the sickly lighting. His mind is already on tomorrow morning and counting the hours till he can see her again. He carefully steals one last glance at her as the bus finally restarts its journey into the city centre, and then he returns to his newspaper without looking back. He never looks back.